You like bagels? Because you keep eating bagels, Jess. You went 0-4 last week, again, twice this season. Your record's 21 and 27. If you just took 2 weeks off, you'd be 21-19. That's pretty sweet.
I can't believe how poorly I've done so far this year. It's absolutely brutal. And to lose all four games, I was actually hoping that I would lose that fourth game. Let's go 0-4. It's pretty hard to go 0-4.
It's as hard to go 0-4 as 4-0. If you look at the outcome of those games, you kind of went 2-2 because if you pick straight up winners, you had two of the right outcomes. The BC Lions let you down again.
And never mind the Lions. I want to talk about that Argos game. That was the first game of the week. It was only a 2-point favorite for the Argos. The Argos lined up for a field goal at the very end of the game, and they missed the goddamn field goal, but they kick it through the end zone for a rouge, and they win the game by 1 point. And the spread was 2. If that kicker makes that field goal, then the Argos win by 3 points and they cover the spread.
When that happened and they won by a rouge, I was like, okay, Jess is going 0-4 this week.
Yeah, the writing was on the wall.
Yeah, I could see it coming though. I was like, that is bad luck.
It's bad luck. And like I said to you, our good friend Dale from the credit union, she had a great quote. If it wasn't for bad luck, I would have no luck at all.
And then even my Hamilton jinx didn't help you. You know, Hamilton lost by too few, and I won that bet on the spread. BC Lions went for another loss. That's 5 straight. Rourke was supposed to be, I think, a good news story, but seems to be kind of, he's not impactful right now. Should we get into next week, week 13 of the CFL here with Placed on the 55?
Our spreads this week are courtesy of Massive Margaret's Meat Market, Steakhouse and Casino, located in the Victoria Inner Harbor. Now until the end of the Lions game on Saturday, mention John and Jess, Placed on the 55, and receive 20% off Margaret's best meat. And as they say out in Victoria, you can't beat Margaret's meat.
How come not Martin? Can't beat Martin's meat.
And Margaret paid the money. I don't know.
It's going to be a big weekend. This is Labor Day weekend. You said at the beginning of the season that the CFL doesn't really get going until Labor Day. Here we are. The OK Tire Labor Day Festival. 4 games that all seem to have like some culture behind them.
Real CFL culture on the Sunday and the 2 games on the Labor Day Monday. Some new culture with Touchdown Pacific. I'm loving the idea about Touchdown Pacific. And what I'm really curious about is how are the Ottawas going to actually travel out to Victoria? Like, are they going to, take a plane to Vancouver and then ferry over? Like in a bus, or do they take WestJet out to Calgary, and then Calgary's a hub, and then maybe they can fly from Calgary into Victoria?
Yeah, it's an away game for both teams, Touchdown Pacific and Victoria. Don't they just fly into YVR and then bus over? That just seems so much simpler.
What I need to mention about Touchdown Pacific, I got an email from the BC Lions this morning. The subject line was, have you made plans for this long weekend? Tickets are still available. I thought the game sold out like months ago. Like, what tickets are still available? The Lions are hosting like what they call a watch party. And for $25, you can watch the game on television outside the stadium in Victoria.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
You can't do that in Vancouver because of the risk of riots, but
I don't know how many people are going to go to that watch party, but even if you get 400 people at $25, that's like $10,000.
We'll do the math later.
Yeah.
Speaking of math, the BC Lions are favored, so they're starting this game down 3.5 with the spread. What's going on with your BC Lions this weekend? Are they going to make it happen?
I really hope so. I can't believe BC is actually favored. I hate to say it, but I'm taking the Ottawas with a field goal for free right off the opening kickoff.
All right, so the spreads you're looking at have Ottawa up with only 3, not 3.5. You want to take my 3.5 on this bet?
Yeah.
That sounds great. Well, I'm going to go BC Lions for sure. I mean, BC is going to turn it around. This is a huge event for them. There's got to be some fire in those bellies, man.
Nathan is the highest paid player in the CFL. They plucked him out of the NFL and brought him into BC. He's looked kind of mediocre, I guess.
You mentioned mediocre there, so why don't we transition into the Winnipeg-Saskatchewan game? Saskatchewan's at home. They're down 2.5 with the spread.
Yeah, and that's what they call the Banjo Bowl.
Okay, so the Bombers are the underdogs, 2.5. What do you think?
That's a tough one. It's only 2.5 points. I like O'Shea's group to get it together. Screw it, taking the Bombers.
All right, well, screw it. I'm taking Saskatchewan. I like their home field advantage, even though it hasn't been much of an advantage this year. I'm going to go Saskatchewan and see how the mediocre Rough Riders do, and maybe they help me out.
So going into real Labor Day on Labor Day Monday, we got the 2 traditional games, the Ontario Battle, Toronto at Hamilton, and then your Battle of Alberta. So Toronto at Hamilton, the Boatmen are favored by 5 points to beat the Tabby Cats. And I like them to beat that 5-point spread.
They look good. Chad Kelly's come back for 2 games. He's won both of them. He didn't get to practice during his absence, but man, he's come back. He's looked great. 2 wins for Chad. I think he's going to win again. For some reason, I don't know why I care, but I just feel like Hamilton's going to kind of just squeak out a loss, maybe lose by 3 or 4. It is 5 points. I mean, it could be a push, right? That'd be our luck. See a push out of this game, but Hamilton's my bet.
You love your tabbies, and you're right. Chad Kelly has looked pretty good considering he had, no practice time really. Whereas Nathan came in and he's lost 2 games and hasn't looked that great. Whereas Kelly does look pretty good, and that's probably why he won Most Outstanding Player last year.
Edmonton and Calgary, battle of the conservative values out in Alberta this weekend.
That's a good comment.
Man, Calgary's had a lot of question marks. They've been up and down. Not a lot of faith in them. They've got a 5-6 record in the West amongst virtually every other team out there except Edmonton. Trey Ford, I haven't seen him for a while. I mean, he must be more banged up than we thought. I think we've both bet Edmonton 2 weeks in a row thinking Trey Ford was going to be the starter. 2.5 points. Is that enough to make Edmonton the victor here?
Yeah, surprisingly, Calgary is favored by 3 points. I don't love McLeod Bethel Thompson all that much. He doesn't seem to get it done. I'll take the Stamps.
Edmonton. I'm going to take them. It's a straight 3. We could have another push on this game also.
It could be. Yeah.
That would really mess up our record if we had to say if I had to say 26, 22.
And 1.
I mean, for you, it doesn't sound as bad because you're saying 21, 27, and 1. Like, that actually sounds better than 21 and 27. Hey, man, if BC wins the Grey Cup, then the one bet that you made from the very beginning, the most important one, is going to come true. And I think for you, that's what matters.
Sure. I'd love the Lions to win the Grey Cup. It's more important to me to actually, win more of these games than I have been.
Hey, man, it's called betting. And if you have problems betting, seek help.
Seek help. Yeah, I need help. I suck at betting at CFL.
All right, Jess. If you want to write the show, you can at placedon55@gmail.com. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, John.